happy to see. I think I'm dying here, man.
Through the haunted mansions and floors, the creep, they lead us to the places from which we dare not peek. A journey through fear and the realm of the night. In every word they speak, our hearts ignite with fright. Welcome to the horror show, the Deep Cut Podcast, where nightmares come alive, ready to take their blow. Tune in to the chilling delight on the airwaves of the night. Let the darkness grow. Let the darkness grow.
Aw, yeah, it's that time again for another bi-weekly podcast with your hosts, Rotten Roger DeMarco and...
Meagan.
That's right, you may notice sitting across from me yet again is not Mr. Evil Dead Inks. It's another 2 weeks down. Evil went off to the fishing hole months ago, and I don't know where he is, so I had to reach out and pull in some guests to talk about some movies, and I thought, why not bring in my wife, the one who helps make things possible and keeps 3B Video and the Deep Cut Podcast afloat behind the scenes. So, that's right. No Evil, Mrs. Roger in the house. So, yeah. You may notice by the title that you clicked or auto-downloaded or whatever that this week we are covering one of our personal favorites, I would say. You know, we grew up on this movie. Yeah, we love this movie, Jeepers Creepers. So normally, I let Evil give the folks at home a brief plot synopsis, but since he's not here, Miss Meagan, if you would like to give the folks out there in internet land a brief plot synopsis, then we can just get started.
Okay, so brother and sister take the back way home to get home from college, and they find themselves right in the path of the creeper. And they spend the rest of the movie trying to find out what the creeper is and what it wants.
So that's the plot in a nutshell. But yeah, let's see where to get started. I feel like anytime you're talking about this movie or any movie in the director's little handbag, whatever, you have to preface the beginning of your discussion with this. We do not condone, support, or respect Victor Salva's lifestyle choices, his crimes, his disgusting acts.
Yeah.
In any way, shape, or form. And here's where I have to play devil's advocate, because I have to be that guy who goes, yeah, but he makes good movies.
Yeah, but he makes good movies.
You know, Michael Jackson makes good music, but also touches little kids. So, double-edged sword.
It's all about separating the art from the artist, which I know it's hard to do, especially if you know, I mean, you probably know someone or have been a victim of sexual...
Oh, I didn't mean to laugh at that.
abuse, and it's terrible, but he makes really good movies.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go out on a limb. I mean, I was talking about it right at the very beginning. We have a long storied relationship with this movie. I praise this movie. I love this movie. I think it's filmmaking 101, one of the best horror movies to come out. I was going to say in the past 20 years, but it's been longer than 20 years now. So that's wild to me.
Another thing, there's a lot more people who were part of that movie than Victor Salva.
True.
So that's like, watch it and praise Justin Long and all the other people. I don't know their names, you know.
Yeah, Jonathan Breck. And that's another thing too with him, who plays the creeper. He gets a bad rep and isn't necessarily invited to many conventions because hey, you worked with Victor Salva. And it's like, but I'm the creeper, dog. Like, I'm an icon. And I don't throw around the word icon loosely. Sure, 2 is not that good. 3 is worse. And 4 is arguably one of the worst films I've ever seen. But Jeepers Creepers 1 cements him as an icon as far as I'm concerned.
It is a very unique look, a very unique idea of the movie that hadn't been really done before. So yeah, like you see a picture of the creeper, you know exactly what it's from.
Yeah. But also can't talk about this without addressing the elephant in the room. I believe maybe a month or 2 ago on the podcast, when Evil was sitting across from me, I mentioned that there's an episode of Unsolved Mysteries, a real-life, true rizzle-dizzle crime that emulates, or is essentially, the very first 20 to 30 minutes of Jeepers Creepers. And to say that Victor Salva didn't know of this, I have a hard time. I have a hard time going, well, he didn't know. Because, I mean, if you are to look up this Unsolved Mysteries segment that inspired Jeepers Creepers. That's all you got to type in. And it's from the Dennis Farina version of Unsolved Mysteries, not the Robert Stack Unsolved Mysteries. But you're going to find some similarities. Instead of brother and sister, it's husband and wife traveling on a country road. A big, creepy vehicle passes them at a ridiculous rate of speed. It has a custom license plate. They lose sight of it, but then later down the road, they see it parked on the side of the road. Homeboy is throwing out some bloody sheets, so they investigate the bloody sheets, and then they spot this guy again, turn him in. He's a guy who, like, killed his wife, whatever, but it's like the old church and all that stuff. It's verbatim. So,
I mean, what's the problem with him taking that from real life?
There's no problem. There's no
Like,
problem because, yeah, it should be inspired by something.
Right.
You know, but
Art imitates life. Life imitates art.
But it's very spot on. And, you know, whatever. Imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, whatever you're trying to say. But, I mean, that's just, it's very, very similar. But I suppose if you're writing, you need a jump off point. So, I get it. But speaking of jump off point, this movie may or may not be, I'm not sure if, is this introducing Justin Long to the world? I know it introduced Justin Long to me.
Yeah, this was the first Justin Long movie I ever seen. Mm-hmm. I don't know of anything else he did beforehand, but like, if it wasn't horror, I didn't see it.
Right,
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. He is, without a doubt, like, when you see Justin Long, first of all, I got a soft spot for this dude because I looked like him when I was in high school.
It's a true story. He did.
Kind of weird that, and people used to be like, you look like that kid from Jeepers Creepers. Now look at us. Justin Long looks exactly the same, and I look like this. But he's a handsome young kid, and he's probably one of the most authentic character actors that I've ever seen. So.
Well, I don't think he's a character actor. Is that where they like?
They're just good at being either a small character or a large character.
Oh, okay. That's
how I always refer to it as.
He was like, what's his name, in the Joker movies? Isn't that what character acting is?
No, that's
method acting.
That's method acting. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Two different things. But
Justin Long, you know how it was like you've got the eyebrow acting and the nostril acting. He's got eye acting.
Oh yeah.
This dude's eyes are just super huge the entire movie.
Expressive, big time. And I was watching the special features just a little bit ago, and Victor Salva was saying that like Justin Long didn't have any of that like Hollywood ego where he wasn't afraid to like get scared and go to a place, you know, like you said, the big eyes, the big nostril, like you got snot coming down out of your nose. You're not afraid to not be pretty. And a lot of guys are like, no, I'm handsome.
I'm a masculine dude.
And Justin Long has some of those, like, they're not quite puberty squeaks, but you know, like he's got that, his voice will crack a little bit, and it's like, it's an ugly beautiful performance, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
What was that line where I was like, I just love the way he says this line?
It is escaping me.
It's something like he had just gone down into this church cellar. I think it's like he sewed it back on. That's what it was.
Sewed it back on.
You know what he did for her? He sewed it back on. I just love his voice. It's a very like distinguished voice. It's hard to hear it and not be like, that's Justin Long.
Oh yeah, yeah. No matter what, even in Alvin and the Chipmunks, and they pitch shift him, and you're like, that's Justin Long. That's Alvin. But with his performance, like he could carry a movie as just a lead by himself, but luckily he has Gina Phillips side by side with him, and they have this amazing chemistry, this tag team. Although they have a little bit of like maybe boyfriend girlfriend.
No, I was
don't feel
just
that?
gonna say I didn't. A lot of times when people are doing brother and sister roles, there's like a sexual tension between them.
I didn't get no sexual
I didn't
tension.
get
I just
that at all. Like
maybe
we
they
just
like
watched
each other a little too much.
Independence Day the other day, and I think the brother and sister dynamic of that, I'm like, bro, they really want to.
They were sleeping together.
They're sleeping together
during
but,
rehearsal.
Yeah, it was just very playful and very, like exactly what brothers and sisters are like. It's crazy how similar these two. I feel like these two are to our own children.
Oh yeah, like back and forth, and it's rude, but it isn't mean spirited rude.
Right. The older sister is just like annoyed and just so over the witty antics of the little brother. It's just like, God, you're not funny, okay? Okay, you are a little funny.
Yeah. So this movie, they're on screen essentially the whole time. So they run the show, and if they don't work together, the whole movie falls apart. And luckily for us, they work amazing together, and we've got tons of playful banter between them, but also like they work together as like a yin and yang when the scares are coming.
Well, yeah, I feel like Justin Long really is way more scared.
Oh yeah.
And she's kind of like, what's going on sort of thing. Like she plays it cool a lot more, and I think that is because of the older sister role. I'm sure she played a little bit of a part in, trying to be there and be a protector of her younger brother, and that really shows through. And when shit's hitting the fan, she kind of keeps it together a lot more than he does.
Oh yeah, he's like hysterical. I want to ask you a question, just ballpark, because you probably have no idea, neither do I. About how many times would you say you've seen this movie?
Well,
this is like comfort food for us.
This was like a rewind and watch it again sort of thing. When I was growing up, I would say I've had to seen it about 25 to 38 times.
A wide variety. Last night, we were rewatching this to kind of put it absolutely fresh in our brains because we knew we were going to be discussing it. And you pointed out something within the first 10 minutes of the movie that I had never noticed. And even though it's right there, and we quote it all the time, and it's the license plate game. They're playing the license plate game. Derry misreads the license plate, and his sister reads it better. And to just, on surface level, you're like, well, yeah, he just misread it. Big deal. But, like, her eyes are better than his.
Yeah. That's what I noticed.
So, and the creeper at the end, spoiler alert, obviously, if you're listening to this, you've probably seen this. It's like 22 years old, people. At the end, she is pleading with the creeper. Like, hey, take me. I've got everything the same. I'm stronger. I'm better, essentially. The Homelander speech, I'm better.
Right. Well, and then something that I didn't notice, but I had, just scrolling through Facebook or whatever, she has a pair of eyeglasses in, like, and that's the only time that she's got them though, in the car in the first scene, and she, because she kind of like puts them in her mouth and stuff, and I'm like,
oh, she got reading glasses.
is that reading glasses?
I don't know,
but yeah, I never noticed that before either. So it's like, does she need glasses? Then how come she can see that license plate better? But
maybe it's whatever that is, nearsighted,
or maybe
farsighted.
it's just like to look cool. I know some people just have glasses.
I don't think that was a thing in like 2001. I don't think people just walked around. That became like a hipster thing.
Yeah. It's like,
I don't know.
More in the 2000 teens.
Yeah. Death to hipsters. Sniff out your fear and eat your innards. I don't know. But, yeah, so that was a weird thing that his eyes aren't exactly that good.
Yeah, and I never noticed that until we watched it this time, because I kind of wanted to, like, how you watch a movie the first time and you're really sucked into the story, and then, after time and time, you're kind of just, like, looking at the background stuff. Yeah. And so I really wanted to, like, look at it from a point of view that I'd never watched it from before. Well,
that's one of the things that Evil and I do. I know you don't necessarily listen to many of our podcasts unless I force them down your throat.
You don't have to force them. I'm just waiting until you pass away so I have your voice forever,
Yeah. Then you get sick of all of my stupid jokes.
I listen to you edit them too, so I've heard them.
Well, one of the things we like to do is we inject a little bit of, we always call it old man reality. Like where we get hung up on things and we go, well, this logistically doesn't make any sense. And most of the time when you're watching a movie, you try to, have a little suspension of disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
You want to immerse yourself in the movie. However, this has been brought up a million times by a million other people, so no one's hearing anything new from me, but I gotta bring it up and complain a little bit. Custom license plate. This dude...
Well, it's obviously not a state-issued one. It didn't have any of that kind of stuff, so he probably fabricated it himself. I mean, he's got tools and knowledge of... well, like I noticed for the first time,
an ex-inmate. He's like making license plates. Fucking.
When there's like a piece of wood down in the church cellar that had
the creeper on it.
Is that the creeper? The carving? I'm like, where did he get that? He had to have made that. So like he's handy. He's handy.
Well, he's handsy. That's Victor Salva. He's handsy.
So, and then when he burns it, it's like, bro, you're gonna have to recarve that wood and all your candles. You're gonna have to get new candlesticks and stuff. Some of that stuff was really cool.
Yeah, all those candles. Like
who
lights all these candles? We always complain about that. But when we were watching it last night too, we were talking about Derry falls down into the pipe.
And what an iconic shot that is too. I love that shot.
And we were discussing how they pulled that off. I would assume that he's on, like, there's a board, like, under, like a harness, like a board under his legs, like so, for the people who are watching. And then like a board under his back. And they can just lower him. So he's not really...
in slow motion.
So they're not really, like, smoking the ground. That's how I think they did it. I'm sure it's in the special features that I didn't get to. But what I was going to say is... he discovers the body. The body's stitched back up, and we brought that up. Like, why would he stitch him up and throw him down there? And I said, I think it's because he's gonna petrify that body, and stick it stick it up on the wall or whatever, because he's got all those bodies down there. And I think the reason, in my opinion, that he goes so hard in the paint after Derry and Trish is they found him out because he's only allowed to every 23 springs for 23 days he gets to eat. So assuming that he was, that building had been abandoned for 23 years and he was...
Or more.
Yeah. He cocoons back up or whatever and hides down there. So this is however many, a decade or however long worth of work of him killing and eating and
God,
whatever.
It has to be a long time because there's so many bodies,
yeah.
That had to have been like the first place that he started doing that.
Yeah, one of, if not the first, his lair. And it gets discovered. And he burns it down, which is a weird thing. Also, if we're going to break it down logistically with the old man glasses, right? He burns down his lair so that he can move on. But it's not like he's leaving evidence, like the fingerprint thing, you know, like, oh, you want to dust these fingerprints? Well, it looks like, because his fingerprints are all rotten and old and whatever.
I feel like it's more of to make it seem like there really isn't a creeper. Like if you see, the church with all those bodies up in the ceiling, you're gonna be like, okay, something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's all just burnt down and nothing's left of it, which there would still be bones. So
I mean, maybe, depending on how. We'll just turn it up hotter. Return of the Living Dead reference, deep cut. Get rid of the bones. But yeah, also, that's a very cool visual. Something that I don't think I had seen up to that point. Might not have seen still. Like, I'm a big fan of body layers or whatever. Like, all the old school slashers. I talk about this with Evil all the time. Like, the said killer would kill off 7 or 8 people, and then the final girl is about to have the battle with the killer and stumbles into some room, and then there's 8 dead bodies of her friends stacked around a table or whatever. For whatever reason, the killer likes to do this, and visually it's super cool. Logistically, it makes zero fucking sense. But for the creeper, it's like a museum or something, and it's art because, like you said, he's very handy,
handy.
So he's got all these petrified bodies, and he can kind of look around and be like, that's where I got my femur, that's where I got my eyes, whatever, so it's unique. And yeah, very good.
And that kind of brings up something else we were talking about. It's like, what do you think that he took what do you think he took from that guy in his stomach that wouldn't kill him right away?
And yeah, that's just that. I go back to the urban legend of like your kidney or whatever, you wake up in a bathtub full of ice in some seedy hotel or whatever. The Russians took your fucking kidneys. I don't know. I'm not sure what they took. Maybe they just took like a couple yards, or he took a couple yards of intestines, like, Brock Lesnar, diverticulitis or whatever. Maybe he was helping him out.
Well, and the creeper definitely has a type, because that kid looked, it had similar features to Justin Long. He likes the dark-haired, dark-eyed,
skinny boys.
Like haircut right to the ear, He's
Yeah.
got a type.
Yeah, he definitely does. But also, redhead girls. That girl, the redhead girl on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, redhead girls and thin, athletic, dark-haired boys.
Oh, my God.
It's us.
It's
Oh
us.
my God. I probably don't look real thin right now. I should probably sit up more straight.
Okay.
Improve my posture. Good Lord.
Oh.
But yeah, so we get, which this is also another one of my favorite things, is how long we truly wait for the reveal.
Right. It's great. He stays in the shadows for so long, which makes it even more scary.
I wish he would have stayed in the shadows a little longer, but what can you do? Even Victor Salva said, like, hey, the studio, they made me change this and this and this, and, I had this idea for the original ending, and then they swapped it out or whatever. So a lot of the stuff is kind of switched around to the way that it should have been filmed or whatever, but we still go a good 45, 50 minutes, I'd say, of the movie.
It's over half.
Before you get a true look at the creeper. Sure, there's some shots where there's some like edge lighting, and you can kind of tell, like, he don't seem right. Like you're looking and you're seeing like extra skin in some spots or some wrinkles, and you're like, and plus he's got that like white ass, like Hulk Hogan mullet thing going on. So you're like, this dude is not normal. But when we get the scarecrow sequence, that's when we get the full reveal.
Yeah, after he kills the old lady and throws her, or like goes.
Yes, yeah. And then you get like the true out of the shadows look at his face.
And it does not disappoint.
No.
It's great.
Every time. So when I was a teenager, when this movie came out, I didn't see it in theaters. I don't know if you did.
No.
I was a home video guy. But I had rented it at the grocery store and came home, and me and like 2 of my buddies, we watched it. And that scene when he sticks his head out, in wrestling term they call it a pop. You know, the audience popped. We all popped. We were like, yo! And it was so good that the movie got over. I immediately rewound it, put in a blank tape on my double VCRs stacked up, and we watched it again and recorded it. And I called my stepbrother. I called like 2 of my other buddies. I'm like, dude, if I come over and get you, like, you guys want to come over and watch this movie? Because it's fucking legit. And I think we watched it like 3 times that night. 3, maybe 4 times that night. It was like that reveal alone. Yeah. It's just stuff dreams are made of, man. I'm telling you, it's like top notch.
I'm pretty sure the first time I watched it is with Tori and Lissa.
Sounds
or
about right.
One or the other. We always watched movies together. And I'm pretty sure we were down in my basement. I had a little living room down in my basement. And yeah, after it was done, I was like, oh my God, this movie is amazing. And I'm pretty sure just rewound it and watched it again.
Yeah. There are a few things that aren't awesome.
Very few.
Yeah, and we were even talking about that last night. Like, so the wing reveal, it's okay. Fine for what it is, but had it been a practical wing, because there's no reason for it not to be a practical wing other than we'll add it in post. You know, like, fuck, man, we're out of time, whatever. And you can kind of tell it's that sort of situation because the body kind of like stretches and distorts, where you could tell that they just kind of like pulled the like mesh of the film
trench
or whatever. Yeah, pulled the mesh of it, and so it's a little rough. Mainly it's that, and then it's going to be the very, very end when she's chasing after the creeper and the creeper's in the clouds.
Yeah.
But you know, how else do you do that, really? So I understand, but it does look a little rough. Those things considered, they're extremely forgivable, you know, because 99.9% of the movie is awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very true. So, and that kind of is like, what the hell is Goofy?
Yeah.
You know? Stand By Me reference.
Deep cut.
Like, what is the creeper? Because you don't, you know, like, obviously he's not a man, but is he like a demon or just something from ancient times or something? And it's kind of cool that we don't get that answer because it leaves it scarier.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to have a backstory to make it scary. Like, the unknown is way more scary than shoving it down.
Freddy versus Jasoning it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't need all that exposition. Treat your audience with respect, and they will love you for it.
Mm-hmm. You know why they say that? Because that's when he comes for you.
No, that's Freddy versus Jason reference.
Deep cut.
Or surface scratch, whatever. It's just... I tell you, you know, and this is where it's the double-edged sword, because as much as I want to say I'll not talk about this movie or not talk about Victor Salva, and to say, yeah, but he's kind of a genius, and in the regard of the way that he structured this film and the way that he was very smart in holding off on certain things and the way that he delivers things, it has a very like classic horror feel. It doesn't have, you know, buckets of blood and all this nudity for no reason and crazy gore gags. Everything's pretty well hidden in the shadows and left up to interpretation. Like, this could play at 9 a.m. on TBS.
Yeah.
And what are you going to cut?
Maybe the F word. Yeah. Like 3 times.
And maybe you're going to have to crop in on the dummy of the girl, because I think you see like her petrified nipples, but they don't even count.
There sure aren't very many dicks up on that wall, so I feel like the creeper probably has 16 or 17 dicks.
Yeah, he might. Like udders. Yeah. That's weird.
I don't know. Like, for some reason, I was seeing if the people on the wall had boobs and wieners, and didn't see a lot of wieners.
Yeah, and I think we were
I was-
discussing last night. I think the reason being is I just learned today that before they even started rolling, he was like $1 million over budget.
$1.5 million.
Yeah, which I don't even know how that happens, but whatever. So I feel like a lot of those bodies that are strewn up on the walls and the ceilings, they went and bought some like $50 mannequins. You know how they have those like Barbie bumps? Mm-hmm. Because we have mannequins, so like they're not anatomically correct, obviously. And I feel like slap some paint on them, try and dirty them up. Sure, we'll keep it dark enough and, you know, obscure some stuff. And
That's one thing I don't really like the way that the close-ups of the people on the wall. Like, I don't know. They just look, I mean, I guess he has to
waxy
petrify them somehow. But like the coloring of them I didn't like, but I mean,
it's mortician's wax, man.
Yeah, and you know, after they're dead. I just feel like the girl is really white and the boy was really red.
Really red, yeah.
Really red. And I'm like, why?
Maybe he had a tan when he died.
Do tan people die and then turn red?
I don't know. Maybe he was Indian. I'm probably not allowed to say that.
You're getting canceled.
I don't know. But yeah, man, just candidly, honestly, when have you ever been to a funeral and been like, fuck, man, that looks just like so-and-so? They don't.
No.
Because they are caked with makeup and wax and whatever.
Stuffed with
Sawdust and shit, you know?
cotton balls. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Cotton balls.
Weird. So, I mean, you do your best to be like, yeah, they look all right. You know? But, I mean,
Well,
they don't.
He did a great job in Death Becomes Her. So
That's true. Well, you know, he's a genius. It's a miracle.
it's another miracle. We should watch that.
Death Becomes Her
I love
reference.
that movie.
Deep cut. That is a fantastic movie.
Well, something that I noticed is that the creeper is like super good at cutting the power. Like,
Yeah,
how did
well-
he learn how to do that so effortlessly?
Well, I mean, he's been around for a long time.
I guess, that's true.
Probably when
It's like a
electricity was
vampire,
invented.
right? Like, especially at the police station, because he cuts the power at the old lady's house, and then he cuts the power again at the police station.
We got lights and phone out here, people.
Do we have backup? So,
Yeah.
I mean, he's really good at that. Did he learn that at trade school?
He might have. Yeah, when he was learning how to be a fucking carpenter, he learned what wires were hot.
And a seamster, too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's got to make his own clothes. He can't just go to the store and be like, "Do you have a 6XL for these
48
wings?"
long. I don't even know what that means. Yeah, that's true. I never thought of that he had to make his own clothes. The more you know. I did want to bring up, there's a weird time. What was this, 2001? I want to say 2001, maybe 2002 when this movie came out. Maybe.
You'd know better than
I should have written that down. I want to say 01. Because Freddy vs. Jason was 2003 and Jeepers Creepers 2 opened against it. Stupidly. But one of the things that happened to be a trend, not just in like early 2000s horror, this goes back to the 80s. And it's one of my favorite things that ever happens, and so much so that Evil is always like, dude, we need to do a whole episode just discussing this particular sequence that happens in horror. And it's one of my all-time favorite things. It's the police station siege. So, you've got this movie, Jeepers Creepers. You've got Darkness Falls. There's a police station siege where the monster comes in. You can go into
30 Days of Night.
Yeah, 30 Days of Night. You can go into the 80s and you've got Terminator. You've got the Maniac Cop films. There are a ton of movies that always have like a Malignant, which is now, or a few years back.
That one was amazing.
And it goes on my list.
The way they shot that was just chef's kiss.
Yes, perfection. Police station sieges are some of my favorite things to happen in movies because I love the idea of, I'm at the police station, it's safe.
Right.
I am here. There's 20 guys walking around with shotguns and revolvers, and there's no possible way that I'm in any danger. And then it's like, nah, hold up a second. I'm going to take 20 seconds and kill everybody in here.
Right, and it's just like when you think about it, police officers are just people. They're not like superheroes. I mean, they're superheroes, but they're not like superheroes, you know?
Did you just thin blue line the audience?
Most of them. Some of them are shitty.
Yeah, bad.
You know who you are. Stop being shitty.
Stop being bad cops.
Right? But they're just people, you know?
With guns.
With guns. Yeah.
And bad judgment most of the time. So,
Anyway.
yeah. And, yeah, I love that. I love seeing a bunch of guys who are, like, well-armed and, you know, they got radios and they got the know-how and they still get just obliterated. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite things. And I could watch just a series of police station attacks on fucking loop. And this one is cool because, again, the Creeper, we totally glossed over this, but they, Derry and Trish, I keep wanting to call her Gina because that's her real name, smoke the Creeper with the car. And they run him over like a badrillion times.
Hit him, Trish.
Yeah, hit him hard. So he's got like tire treads, grooves, you know, and he picks his miserable bags of bones up and sallies forth. That's an Army of Darkness reference, deep cut, to the police station where he breaks into the basement / jail cells,
holding cells, whatever,
and just fucking eats everybody in there so he can get back to true form, and then crawls along the walls.
Oh, that was so scary. I wish they would have done a revolving room, because you can kind of tell that he doesn't have very much traction being sideways on there, but still, it's scary. A lot of times when that kind of stuff is happening, it's like, sometimes it's like, oh God, this is over the top. But for some reason with him, I was just like, oh, I don't like it.
It's all like he's got the weird texture on his skin and the wings and the hair. It's the silhouette, man. He has a great demon silhouette. Why not shoot that? I mean, if you want to go ultra, we don't have money to build a revolving room because they were over budget. Why not like Batman 66 it, you know?
Yeah, put all of the stuff on the wall. Yeah.
It's all I'm climbing up a wall, like I'm on the floor and the camera's fucking sideways.
That would have just given that a little bit more realistic feel to it. I mean, it's good, but if they would have done that, it would have been great.
I also like the fact that he doesn't eat or kill the psychic.
Yeah.
Which is cool because from the second she's introduced, you kind of are expecting her to like maybe try to get in the way and get killed in the process. You know, take one for the team, try to slow the Creeper down. But she's not a hero in any regard. She cowers.
Well, she prays to God. That's why he didn't. Because he's like, I don't think that people who pray to God taste good.
I don't want your brain.
Right? There's nothing on you that...
Yeah.
God already... I don't know what I'm trying to say.
You don't know.
I'm going to workshop that. I'll be back with it.
And that's another thing.
Tainted you. That's the word. God tainted you.
Are you still on high school? Are you still on Fade? It's a Hatchet reference, deep cut. But what was I was going to say, they originally, and it's in the deleted scenes, I'm not sure if it's on the Shout Factory Blu-ray. I know for a fact it's on my DVD. There's some deleted scenes. And originally, the Creeper, when he kills the old lady at the farmhouse, like when he pulls her into the light and he sticks his face into the light, he sniffs her and he says, "She don't smell too good, Derry." And it feels...
I'm really glad they cut that out.
It feels wrong. You know, he shouldn't talk because then he's also like kind of giving away what he's doing.
Yeah.
And also it's just a weird line of dialogue, really.
Yeah.
It's kind of stupid.
Less is more, for sure.
Yeah. And that goes back to us talking about, like, we're not getting an origin story. We're not... I mean, really, black screen, white text, every 23 years...
For 23 days.
It gets to eat. Every spring, every 23rd spring, for 23 days, it gets to eat. And this is day 23. Or whatever, you know? Like, that is all we need to know that this is a threat. And it's not going to go away until it eats.
Yeah.
So, yeah, keeping us in the dark, no pun intended, is the way to go. And, yeah.
And so being at the police station, I don't know why. I absolutely love when Derry and Trish are fighting in the interrogation room and you can't hear anything. I don't understand why they're doing it. I'm probably just to stay quiet. They have no idea where he's at. But just the body language and just the sound design of like their feet shuffling and everything, it just brings me so much comfort for some reason. I'm just like, I always look forward to watching that part of the movie.
That's weird. That's a weird part of the movie to like.
I like it. Just when Derry's like,
I would assume, because it's weird that you really like that, because I've always kind of had a problem with it, because
Really?
I feel like it's supposed to be quiet or it wasn't supposed to be quiet, but in editing it got messed up. I feel like it's supposed to be like through the soundproof one way, but the camera's on the other side.
yeah, and then they don't add the sound in.
So they didn't add the sound, so I think they fucked that up. But I think there's probably a deleted scene that is going to lead to them like, oh, there's no way out of this room.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm almost positive that there's a deleted scene. Like, why'd we go in here, you fucking moron?
Right.
Like,
well, and when I was a kid, my mom, whenever like we were out in public and we were being bad, she'd always like whisper and be like, knock your shit off.
I'm gonna take you in the bathroom and beat your ass.
Right. So it's like, it's even more scary. It's like, knock it off, stupid right now, sort of thing. And I don't know if I like it because of that, but it just reminds me.
It brings me comfort. It makes me
Right?
think of my mom beating my ass.
She never beat my ass.
Yeah,
She did punch a hole in the door because I pissed her off so bad once. And then
Yeah.
instead of fixing the door, just put a picture that I drew on top of the hole.
Yeah, that fixes holes metaphorically and physically. That's parenting in a nutshell. Yeah. We were talking about things that don't look great with the wings and the whatnot. However, when he has a hold of Derry and the wings come out, I don't have an issue with that.
That looks good.
And I really like the tendrils opening up.
I'm like, what did he eat to get that? Or is that just like
Maybe that's
part
just
of
him.
him? Like, what parts of him are him and what parts are of the things that he eats?
I feel like it's organs for the most part.
Is what he needs?
I would think.
Like, if you can get a transplant from it in the hospital, you can get the creeper can eat it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not like. That's where, again, because it's ambiguous, and I'm sure they try to answer those in like 3. I don't think they try to answer a goddamn thing in 4. But 3, I've only seen a handful of times because I used to think that one was. I was like, wow, this is a low benchmark.
So Victor Salva didn't do 2, did he?
Yes.
He did. Did he
Yes.
do all of them? Did he do 3 and 4? I don't think he did 3.
No, I don't think so.
was
I
in
think he sold. I
prison.
think he sold the rights.
When was he in prison?
Would have been after Clown House, so it would have
Is
been
that with our boy in it?
Sam
all
Rockwell.
In their, all in their underwears?
Yeah,
That's that one? I've never seen that one.
it's a good movie.
Maybe I have.
It's a good movie. You come in my room again, I'll step on your face.
No.
Scared of how bad I'm gonna bash you. Yeah, there's some really good lines of dialogue in that movie, but it has a stain
You can tell that was for his own personal pleasure.
because yeah, I don't want to get into it, but
Anyway,
bad juju with that movie. Am I allowed to say that?
I think that's derogatory, maybe.
Juju, not
Say it
not like
again.
juju, just
Not
ju-
Jew.
Yeah. But again, this is definitely comfort food, and there is a pun intended in that. Yeah. For us, this is a movie we can throw on anytime. And so much so that I think our kids might even be sick of it. Like, you're watching Jeepers Creepers again.
Again?
It's kind of like me with Night of the Living Dead 90. They're like, again? Really? You want to watch that again? Why? Well, because I like it.
I
That's
like
why.
saying the lines of dialogue along with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. So what? But I wanted to talk a little bit about the right before they hit the creeper, when they're kind of having that little game of chicken, on the road.
Oh, yeah.
To me, like, I feel like Kane Hodder kind of emulated that a little bit in Victor Crowley when he's going to stomp on the girl's head and he's kind of pacing back and forth, like kind of daring him, like, come on out. And then he like stomps on her head. With this, I mean, the creeper knows that he can't be touched. So
Yeah.
there's this like aura of like arrogance. Like, come on, I fucking dare. Like you can see it in his eyes. Like,
Yeah.
I dare you.
You come here.
Yeah. And of course he does the old hardcore parkour. I broke my arm. Shaggy 2 Dope.
Reference deep cut.
Fucking leaping over the car. Yeah, he's like some Jackie Chan shit. It's awesome. And he does it like 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, I can do this all day, man. Let's go. Let's keep going.
Yeah, and then he lets them hit him.
You
Like
think he lets them?
He rolls into it. Like he's like, let me just fuck up your car.
I don't know. I don't think he did that on purpose.
Well, okay, then it's the stuntman's fault. Because I like the way it looks on camera to me is like, let me do the old tuck and roll.
Because, I mean, if he did it on purpose, he would have got right back up and he just lays there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that, like, he thought that he had more time to get closer and then Trish, like, got it unstuck, making up our own words over here.
That's Sits.
That's it.
Sits is in Evil and I are going to make that work.
That's it.
It does.
That tracks.
It Sits. I'm not sure how long we've been going.
Do you think it's been too long?
No.
Okay.
So I was going to say, we can move on to some of the next segments.
Okay, well,
unless there's anything else you want.
I just got a couple more things that I was going to touch on. On this viewing, I noticed like when the creeper has Derry and Trish, and he's like trying to smell them. He smells their eyes, and I never noticed that before.
Oh.
Like he's like, yeah, smells their eyes.
No, eyeball sniff.
Yeah, I mean,
That's weird.
And I'd never noticed that. And so I don't know if he like knew that's what he wanted from them, or is just I want something from them and I have to figure it out sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I did notice like he would smell them a couple of times and then he smelled Derry's eyes. I don't know if he smelled Trish's eyes, but I did notice that he smelled Derry's eyes. So
yeah, that's an interesting point. Like, so he knows. Like, he sniffs out their fear, so he knows they're afraid, which makes them, like, delicious to him. You know what I mean? I guess, like, oh, man, that's going to be tasty. But what's going to be tasty? You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be a good meal, but, like, how does he decide, like, I really want the liver of Joe or whatever, like.
Yeah.
It's a weird, like, you're going grocery shopping and you're just, like, eyeballing the meat
Right,
counter.
it's like, I know I'm hungry, but what am I hungry for?
What am I in the mood for?
Yeah.
Is it a fish day? Is it, like, it's weird.
And then I was wondering if Trish and Derry, are they twins? Or is she older? Because you feel like she is older because
sister.
he's like, why are, younger brother.
They're both in college.
Yeah. Are they twins? Or is she older by a year or so? I don't know,
but
it kind of seems like when she said the lines like, we have everything inside of us is the same, made me be like, oh, I wonder if they're twins.
maybe. They may be. Somebody let us know what you think about that, because that makes sense. That tracks. That sits, as they say, as we say. Yeah, because it would make sense that they're both in college at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Well, then now thinking of it, yeah, I don't know. Because, like, she's like, oh, you're bringing your dirty laundry home? And he's like, I have to.
Makes my mom happy.
Yeah. It makes her feel like I don't need her anymore when I don't. It kind of, that line kind of makes me feel like she's already been gone for a year or so.
Okay.
I don't know why. But,
yeah.
And then I was wondering, does this creeper have to stay on Highway 18? Because I know that it's Highway 18.
I think it's just because that's where his lair is.
Yeah, but because Derry said something about like, that was 100 miles from here. So can he only stay on Highway 18? I don't know what highway they're on in the
It's
second
the same
one.
highway.
Is it the same highway? So, what's up with that? Why can't he just go somewhere else?
Well, I mean, he can, because he comes into the town.
Yeah.
To the police station and all of that stuff.
But is that still on the same highway? I don't feel like they left that highway at all.
I don't know. I don't know. Onyx, the fortuitous reference. Deep cut. I might have to watch 3 and 4 again.
Don't watch 3 and 4. Watch 2. That one's got some redeeming
Two's
qualities.
Fun. Two's fun enough.
2 is pretty good. The only other thing that I was thinking of is I really like when he's eating that cop's tongue and the billboard behind him tastes so darn good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Visually pleasing.
Yeah, I like the backlighting of this movie too. Lighting and cinematography were really great, and we were just watching the special features and stuff, and I had noticed that they didn't use blue light for nighttime, but I didn't notice it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really like the
aesthetic.
The aesthetic of it, and how they actually shot at night, and it's visually really, really fun to watch too.
Part of me wants to know what it would look like if they had used blue lighting, though, because I'm such a sucker for it, obviously. But
I don't think it would have worked as well.
You don't, huh?
No.
I don't know. Damn it. Oh, that's what I was going to bring up, because we're talking about the highway. And you and I both, last night, there's a sequence when they do call the police and they stop at that diner. Mm-hmm. And you can see everybody in the background. So the police are there talking to Derry and talking to Trish. You see everybody in the background like go over to the window and look out the window. Yeah. And they're like, what's they're all getting kind of like, what's going on out there? And then they're like, hey, that
That's
guy's
your
out
car
there.
out there, ain't it?
Yeah, he's holding big old handfuls of your laundry and sniffing it.
Looked like he was liking it too.
Which way did he go off? Run off, Banky.
Damn.
And like, why would no one in that diner be like, hey, Officer Douche Canoe,
here's this guy. This is probably the guy you're looking for.
This is that fucking psycho out there sniffing their fucking laundry, but waits till he leaves.
Yeah.
To
Which brings up another point. You know, he didn't drive there. He had to have flown.
Oh, yeah.
Did they see him fly away, or did he kind of walk off until they couldn't see him and then fly away?
Well, did you notice the shot when the camera pans back and Trish is
like looking up?
Oh,
yeah.
He flies past her.
So yeah, still, like, did these people see him fly away?
I'm sure he walked behind them.
Does
he's
she
like Superman. He's got to go into the fucking phone booth, change his clothes, and then...
What's a phone booth? I don't know what a phone booth... What do you mean?
All the people who listen to us are like 45, so they know what a phone booth is. Thank Christ. All you young kids who've never been in a phone booth. And it shows. No. But... yeah, he flew there because they make that whole remark of like, well, he couldn't have he's fast, but he ain't that fast.
Yeah.
Type of deal. So, which also helps to scare Derry more. Mm-hmm. Which is another thing. Like if you go back and watch this movie, every single time there's an interaction with the creeper, like you can tell by at least one line of dialogue that Derry has that he like, his fear is getting amped up.
Mm-hmm. He's a little scaredy cat.
Yeah, he is petrified, and he will get petrified.
Ooh.
Hey-oh, I just thought
coincidence?
of that.
I think not.
No. And also, at the very, very end, when we get the reveal that Derry is no longer with us, rest in peace, home slice.
Spoiler alert.
I'm gonna say he's skinned, but he's got teeth.
Yeah, there's something very hollow about him.
It's
Why
weird
is
looking.
he hollow and nobody else that, the creeper is
I don't know,
fielded
maybe,
or...
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, why is everybody else full-bodied and he does look like it's just that
Like the
outer
front.
layer of his skin?
Yeah.
Maybe he wants... No, he doesn't want his skin. He would have eaten his skin.
Yeah. Like chicken
Is he wearing
skin.
a man suit? What's that movie?
Donnie Darko?
Deep Cut.
Why are you wearing that stupid bunny suit?
Why are you wearing that stupid man suit?
I want to watch Evil Dead in the theater with Frank the Bunny.
I don't want to like that movie, but I did. I liked it. When I was in high school, I hated it. And when we watched it here recently, I'm like, damn it, this is
It's pretty good. I don't understand it. It's pretty good.
What are you doing? Okay, we're going to go off on a different tangent if we talk about Donnie Darko.
But on that note, we've been rambling for a while, so I think we can move on to our next segment, which means it's time for that Brown Panty Award.
Oh, baby. It's time to slip into something a little more comfortable. It's time for the Brown
And since you are the guest this week, Miss Meagan, I'm going to let you go with your Brown Panty Award first. For anyone listening who does not know what the Brown Panty Award is, we are giving an award to a character who gets offed in the movie who we feel they just didn't deserve it. That's not cool. We could have let them live and the outcome would still be the same or better. They were just the wrong place, wrong time, too nice of a character. Whatever the case may be, you got to have, a character who bit the dust and you're sad about.
Well, my obvious choice would be Derry.
That's
but that's
low-hanging
I know.
fruit.
I'm not gonna pick Derry.
That's
because
right.
he's got to die. But the old cat lady, I didn't want her to die. She was like, I don't know. I just saw a glimpse of myself in her.
I hope not. I hope
It was
not.
just like, don't you bring no cops around here telling me how many cats I can have.
How many babies do you have?
More than a couple. But she was great. And not that she had to die too, but I'm sad that she did.
Yeah.
So she gets my Brown Panty Award.
Other cool thing about her is she kind of has that long gray stringy hair too. And so when she's backlit, it's kind of difficult to tell. Is that the creeper? Is that the old lady?
Right? She kind of has a threatening vibe about her.
Oh, for sure.
But then once you get to know her, she's really cool.
She's a wonderful, wonderful
she
woman.
came out there with a shotgun getting ready to kill this dude. She doesn't know what's going on with them. And she's just like, oh, I'm going to shoot this guy. You guys cool with if I just shoot him?
Who the fuck is that?
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's valid. I approve.
That sits.
It does sit.
I don't like how I don't think she needed to, hit Derry in the nuts, though.
Well.
That was kind of weird.
Victor Salva's weird.
I just need Justin Long to grab his junk for a minute.
Yeah.
Just a
stretch it
minute.
out.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yep. I'm done. No.
But then it's just like, who's going to take care of all those kitty cats?
They're going to eat her.
They would. So she's still taking care of them.
Be eating you. Yeah. My Brown Panty Award, I had to kind of think outside of the box because, again, there's not a lot of people get smoked in this movie, right? Some cops here and there. Derry, whatever. The old lady. My Brown Panty Award has to go for a little wrong place, wrong time kind of deal. And I'm going to give it to the homeboy in the jail cell. Who we don't know what he did. Motherfucker could be in there for parking tickets.
Right, he could have just been jaywalking.
And he's locked up. And then we take our little trip down to the holding cells, and the creeper is just mowing down on this dude. And everybody else,
He's got some nice legs.
yeah, and everybody else in the jail cell is fucking petrified. And I feel bad for this dude. Like, he was probably sleeping, because it's midnight or whatever. He's like, my wife's gonna come pick me up in the morning. I'll go get arraigned or whatever, get my fucking court date, da. And nope, some fucking half chicken, half whatever comes.
Do you think he's part chicken?
I don't know. He's got chicken jowls and the chicken, how chicken skin has those bumps.
When they were doing the standoff, I kind of felt like he was yeah,
I'm a chicken.
chickenish.
I'm a
So
chicken.
it's weird that you say that because I kind of felt like he was chicken-esque.
He's got some chicken skin. He got chicken talons, He's got them big, raptor talons. Yeah, but yeah, my Brown Panty has to go to the poor schlub in the jail cell who gets his legs eaten. Yeah. So let us know yours. However you let us know. But we'll move on to the next segment, which is very similar to the Brown Panty Award. And that is the Perfect Execution Award.
You're gonna die, clown!
Perfect.
This award is going to go to a person who gets killed and you just dig the kill. So you could either really like the practical effect that was used, the method of dispatching, whatever. Yeah, just one that you really, really enjoy. So I'll go first this time, since you went first last time. And my pick is your pick for the previous. My pick is the old lady.
I love you.
Because, first of all, he just grabs this bitch by the word is the nape, right? The nape of her neck, like when you grab a cat by their neck and you're like, ah.
Hey, that makes a lot of sense.
And they can't move.
Yeah.
He's got this old bitch by the back of her neck and pushes her up against the door. And she's alive.
Yeah.
And so the way that I'm going to air quotes for the folks watching or listening. You can't see me air quote. But he just fucking, to use a word that the children use, yeets this bitch to death. He just straight throws her to the side. And
it's a good throw, too.
And this time, I was watching it super hard to see, is that a dummy?
No, I don't
And
think
I think it's a stunt person on a fucking cable.
Yeah.
But if it were a dummy, I'm here to tell you right now, spoiler alert, that'd be my fucking prop for the prop game, would be that old bitch dummy. But
oh, I like how you call her old bitch.
My God, every time he throws her, there's like a little child in me that just is like, and so it's like one of my all-time favorite kills. Because did it kill her? Maybe.
You know what? You never know.
She gets back up and she's like,
dusts herself off.
Hunting him down in the rest of the Creepers movies. I don't know, but
she seems like she could probably handle herself. But I don't know. He had to have stabbed her or something.
That's a hard yeet.
It was a hard yeet, as the kids would say.
Yeah. So, and I'm definitely putting a fucking gif of it up. All right. So, what's your perfect execution?
Guess what my perfect execution is? Your pick for the Brown Panty Award. How crazy.
Oh, nice.
And the reason is, I remember.
We flip-flopped.
Yeah, we did. That was cool. I remember watching this for the first time. And the sound design, the slurping, like
his
wings or
whatever
hitting the bar, and just it being in the dark, and those two other cellmates just sitting back like they can't even talk, they can't even move, just I'm even getting goosebumps right now. It just scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
The ambient sound design
is so good.
And the great thing, God damn it, a great director, a great editor, you're going to find that when music is needed, like, you don't notice it, and when you go back and watch that scene, if you were to dissect that scene, pun intended, and really look at it, the sound design that's being used and the score, air quotes, if you will, even, is nothing more than, like, to quote Forgetting Sarah Marshall, it's ambient tones, ominous tones. It's like weird low tones, not necessarily music, and it's up there. It's really good filmmaking.
It just seems organic, when it's like, music, it can kind of take you out of it. But when it's just ominous tones and organic sounding things, it kind of roots it in reality a little bit more.
Yeah, I can't have a bombastic, like, wild score.
Yeah. I mean, some can, but it would not have worked in this.
And there are some, because they used an orchestra to do the score for this movie in certain spots.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm like 99% sure.
I don't know.
If I'm wrong, someone will let me know, because that's how the internet works. Someone will tell me I'm a fuck.
Actually.
Yeah, they can come get me. Yeah. But I suppose on that note, we can move on to our middle segment, which is a new little thing that we like to do, where we like to take a look in Walter Paisley's horror movie survival book, the ancient Sumerian text, if you will, and get one survival tip on how to survive Jeepers Creepers.
You must abide on every page if you don't want to die. This ancient book will help keep you alive, so pay attention to the tips of how to survive.
And I suppose, since you're the guest, I will let you read from the book.
The survival tip for Jeepers Creepers is deodorant can and will save your life.
That is absolutely 100% true. I think you and I were discussing something to that effect last night of, because if he can smell your fear, is that a pheromone? So, like a dog can smell your fear and want to bite you or whatever. If you are, showered and have deodorant on and your laundry isn't dirty, so it doesn't have your scent all over it, maybe use the air condition in your car, because everybody's sweaty this whole movie. Like, it has a very sticky, warm summer,
right? Which is weird because it's supposed to be in spring.
Yeah.
When you feel like, is this movie supposed to take place in the Midwest? Because I know the second one takes place in the Midwest.
Oh yeah, same
because
stretch of highway.
like we were saying, this really has like a swamp marsh sort of feel.
All those trees.
The trees with the hair, I don't know what, the ivy and whatever hanging off from it.
They're like weeping angel trees or something.
In spring, it's still kind of chilly, and everybody was sweating. And I noticed this watch that when they go to the old lady's house, she has not a thermometer. You know what I mean? A thermometer, and it says it's 80 degrees outside.
Yeah, like an outdoor thermometer.
Is that what it's called, a thermometer?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think there's another word for it, but whatever. You guys understand what I mean.
So yeah, it's a toasty warm boy in spring, which is different. And if you cover up your scent, maybe he wouldn't eat you. But if Walter Paisley says so, and you can take that shit to the bank, the blood bank, Senator. That's some Steven Seagal reference, deep cut. He's in a bunch of movies with 3 words: hard to kill, hard to live, hard to breathe,
hard to watch.
Yeah, hard to walk. Motherfucker, chunky son of a bitch. But yeah, now normally once we're done with horror movie survival, and evil is sitting across from me, we usually dip our toe into the disgusting depths of the internet and we take a look at a bunch of vitriol and hatred with the Amazon 1-star reviews. But since evil is not here,
and there were absolutely no 1-star reviews. Nah, I don't know that for sure.
There's probably one from evil, because evil does not like this movie.
Because of Victor Salva?
I don't think it's because of Victor Salva. I think it's.
Oh,
I think he has
the
his own,
whole-
like the wings
yeah,
and
the
the whatnot.
wing thing.
It's not really his. Whatever. It's not his taste. But since evil's not here, whenever he's not here, we go back in time and we go do a little something we used to do on the live streams on 3B Video, which are all archived. 3B Video YouTube. You can go back and watch Evil and I and however many guests we've had talk about movies and do this little segment. And the next segment is called The Tie-In.
It's time for the tie-in. So many movies, so little time. You better pick yours before I pick mine. So watch a double feature. All monsters and creatures. It's a double feature. Oh, death, death, death.
Now for this segment, it's essentially like you are the person working at the video store and someone comes up to the counter with Jeepers Creepers. They want to rent this movie and you got to give them a recommendation. What's a good double feature? What's a good pairing? You know, like when you got a good glass of wine, you got some chocolate or whatever goes good with wine, whatever. I don't fucking know. I'm not an alcoholic, but
You don't have to be an alcoholic to like wine.
yes, you do.
No, you
drunk,
don't.
drunk bastards. But you got to give a good recommendation. Make a night out of it. 2 flicks. How you're going to start your night. How you're going to end your night. Most of the time, try to keep them somewhat similar in some facet. And you can go way outside of the box and think of, a weird element. It can be a cast member that carries over, whatever. There's many ways to do this, but you got to have some justification. It can't just be like, I picked this because this, and it's some bullshit reason. It's got to have some legs, got to have some heart, which is why whenever I do this, I really, really kind of beat myself up about it. You know, I think hard of what would make a good night for me. Like, I don't take it lightly. I don't want to waste 4 hours of somebody's night with some bullshit movie. So I'm curious. So what you're gonna pick? It better not be no bullshit.
Did you see what I picked?
I didn't, because you live here. So if you pick some bullshit,
You sleeping on the couch
I'm
tonight.
hitting you as soon as we stop recording.
Do you feel like you know what I picked? I feel like you could maybe guess what I picked if you didn't see what I picked.
I just want to say Hateful Eight.
No, it's not Hateful Eight.
Because you're always Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Right? No, let's just watch Hateful Eight. We just watched that yesterday. I don't care.
Yeah.
No, my tie-in is The Faculty.
Okay, that's not bad.
Okay.
I need reasons and how you're gonna start your night and how you're gonna end your night.
Okay, so my reason, and I tried to think for a long, long time, like the whole rest of the night, I was like, what would my movie be? The first thing that came to my mind was Faculty. And I just could not get it out of my head. For a minute, I was like, well, what about Tusk? I really like Tusk. And then what's that other one with him and the mama in the basement?
Oh, the Barbarian.
Barbarian.
Really
and I was
good.
just like, oh, I just don't want it to be because Justin Long is in it. I love Justin Long, but like one movie a day is cool with me. And the reason that I did Faculty is because that was another one of my watch, rewind, watch again.
Oh, okay.
And it deals with young adults as well. You know, they're the ones, I guess, you know, in this movie, they're not really trying to save the world. They're just trying to save themselves. But in The Faculty, they're trying to save themselves too. So,
Yeah.
it really, both of those movies remind me of being a teenager
And
myself.
they're both comfort food.
Right, yeah. And so I would start with The Faculty and end with Jeepers Creepers.
Start a little more lighthearted and then end a little more. Because Jeepers Creepers, I mean, we've spoiled the entire movie, but it does end on somewhat of a pretty heavy downer. You know, not often bad guys win. Bad guy wins.
Right.
And I'm here for it, you know.
I like it because it's like bad guys usually win. You know?
Yeah. Because, you know, in real life, when there's like a serial killer, the cops don't show up until after to investigate your body.
Yeah.
Like,
they're not saving you. They're figuring out why.
yeah, they might catch the guy before he gets the next one.
But you gone.
Yeah, you're not here. You don't get to see the sequel. Although Justin Long does show up in the sequel for dream sequences with no eyes.
Gosh,
And
it's been a hot minute since I've seen that one. It'd be like a new movie for
Ray
me.
Weiss. We'll throw it on as soon as we're done with this because
I'm cool with that.
I don't mind. Okay, so we're gonna jump into my tie-in, I suppose. Again, many factors come into play when I pick a tie-in movie. Comfort food is a very good reason, you know, a good jump off point. So I will say that the movie that I picked is comfort food.
Is it Night of the Living Dead?
No.
Okay.
But there's aspects. If you break down Jeepers Creepers, if you had to with a log line, I mean, I know you gave a brief plot synopsis, but if you had to say what kind of movie Jeepers Creepers is, what would you say maybe?
Well, I mean, it's more of a psychological thriller than a horror movie. You know, you don't know the...
Would you consider it a road movie?
Yeah, a lot of it happens on the road, you know, in vehicles.
So
Yeah.
it's a travel movie?
Death Proof?
No.
No, okay.
So I...
Just want to guess it.
Yeah. So I decided, you know, this at its core, it's a road movie.
Mm-hmm. I think I know what it is.
This at its core is a, for better or worse, there's a relationship involved. It's a brother and sister in Jeepers Creepers, but there's a relationship that is playful but also has some attitude. And then there's also something trying to eat these people that are on this road trip. So my tie-in is going to encompass all of those. Also encompass the fact that it is a fun, any time of day type of movie for me that is comfort food.
I know what it is.
Do you? Mm-hmm. My tie-in is Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Oh, 3.
3, because, and not a lot of people like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, but you're going to hear, if you're a long-time listener or a new listener, you're going to hear Evil and I profess our love for this movie for many, many reasons. Extremely fun characters, extremely unique dispatching of victims, cool costume designs, cool music, cool everything. Everything is cool, but it's also, all of those things are the reasons why people don't like it, whatever. It just fits perfect. Texas Chainsaw 3 is boyfriend and girlfriend road tripping. They are having somewhat of a strained relationship because they're going to split up. They don't know if they're going to stay together, but they agreed to do this road trip to maybe say goodbye on good terms. Then they become hunted by a cannibal family, and they have to fight back. And they play pretty closely to one another. One's a family of cannibal humans. The other's a weird chicken cave hoic. I don't know what he is, but
hey,
you know.
I had zombies.
Yeah. Yeah, zombie redneck torture families. Completely different. Cabin in the Woods reference, deep cut. But yeah, I just felt like deep in the repertoire of 3B video, you know, however many movies we have so many movies, and there are so many things that I love and that I go back to on a almost like a weekly basis, like a movie that I can just watch no matter what. Jeepers Creepers is one of those. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 is one of those. So, and I'll never stop shoving that movie down people's throats. I'll be that guy 40 years from now being like, stop hating on this movie. It's rad.
I mean, he did his time. He did bad things. He did his time. Still a terrible fucking person.
Yeah, but
he did his time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still a horrible person.
Yeah.
I think at the beginning of this, we should, like, with the black background and white lettering, we know Victor Salva is a piece of shit. We in no way, you know, condone.
This guy is not awesome.
He's just, but he makes really good movies.
Yes. And that being said, I suppose we can move on to the final segment of the podcast, which I don't know that you've ever had to do this. I don't know that we've ever played this game officially.
I mean, not officially, but I mean, we've played it watching movies and stuff.
Yeah. So you're going to go on record. You're going to be recorded playing your very first prop game.
It's time to play the game. The prop game.
That's right. It's time to play the game. And if you're new here, welcome. But you're probably scratching your head asking yourself, what is the game? Well, the game is a deep cut in and of itself, where you got to pick a prop from the movie that we are covering, but it can't be a well-known prop. So since we're covering Jeepers Creepers, I'm going to go ahead and say, you can't have the Creepers van. You can't have the beating you license plate, aka be eating you license plate. You can't have his trench coat, his hat, his axe. That's bullshit. Low-hanging fruit. It's off the fucking table. It is not up for grabs. So pick something weird, strange, off the beaten track, and then let us know on the comments on the podcast, whether that's on YouTube, Spotify, Patreon, Discord, Facebook, wherever you find us. Let us know, because this is one of Evil and I's absolute favorite things to do. And we love to hear what weird things you want from the movie as well. And that being said, Miss Meagan, I'm going to let you go first yet again. So
I want to know what yours is. Okay, so I have one, and a backup,
You can
and
have-
another backup,
Okay.
just in case these first two are too low hanging, because I feel like my first choice,
In case one breaks down.
yeah, is kind of a low hanging fruit, but I just love it so much. I really love Derry's Bannon shirt.
Bannon Phantoms, go Phantoms!
So that's what my prop would be.
Pre-torn?
Pre-torn, yep. And I even put in my notes before it gets dirty.
Ah, nice. Yes. There's probably like 20 of those laying around somewhere.
Yeah, and because I thought of it like, you know, you're a PA on the set and you got to steal something, you know, and so it's like, there's like 18 of these shirts. I'm just going to take one of them.
Yep. No one's going to miss it.
But then if that was too low-hanging fruit, I would get the rose tattoo of Derry's.
How are you going to take his tattoo?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't take it, but I would just get it tattooed on me.
Oh, that doesn't work.
So it doesn't
You're
work.
You're gonna take his skinned body.
Yeah.
It's got the rose tattoo on it.
I mean,
that's a good prop.
You know, so yeah, that's what I meant by that.
What was your third one?
So there's a twisty candlestick holder at the beginning in his lair.
I
in
like
the church.
candlesticks.
I really like candlesticks, so I would take that twisted candlestick holder.
That's different.
Yeah.
See, yeah.
But the T-shirt's my number one.
Okay, well, none of those are mine, so take your pick.
I want the shirt. Give it to me.
Mine now feels a little low-hanging fruit, but I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
my T-shirt felt low hanging, so it's fine.
So, my prop is only on screen 6 seconds at best. And however, without said prop, there's no lore to. I mean, the only backstory we get to the creeper is a story told in the car, and without said story and without said prop, the creeper has less weight. So my prop is the boyfriend's class ring.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy, because I was just saying when we were watching it, I wish I still had my class ring.
Yeah. Because obviously it's an important prop. They're holding hands. However, I will say, in my previous watches, however many, I always thought that it was the girl's hand with the class ring on it.
I think she is wearing it. It's on the
she-
white
okay,
hand.
so
She's
it's her
wearing
hand. She's
his
wearing
class
his class ring.
yeah.
I get it. Okay, because I wrote it down as her class ring, but then I'm like, it's his class ring, but it's on her hand, so that makes sense. Either way, her class ring.
You can't
Yeah.
put ownership to the class ring.
Yeah.
It's just the class ring.
Yeah, because it's gonna get passed around. Because they were gonna break up anyway. Because they were fucking high school sweethearts. But yeah, you know.
What? That was a deep cut.
Was it? No. I
Yeah,
was just saying.
we can't call it your vibrator. It's just the vibrator. Fight Club, deep cut. Ooh,
Anal nitrates.
That went over your head.
It's been like 20 years since
we
I've
need
watched
to
Fight
watch
Club.
that. Stop it! It's good.
It is good. It just I end up getting in fights. Literally, the last time I watched Fight Club, I was like, I'm ready to watch the world burn. I'm gonna go hit somebody in their fucking mouth. And you live with me, so you might not. I mean, it might.
That might scare me.
Unleash. I might just.
What?
Beat
You're
you.
gonna be me?
I might Chris Benoit this whole family. Just
God.
fucking.
Chris Watts.
Yeah,
Why is
no.
it always guys named Chris? Chris
Benoit, the wrestler.
Crispin. Crispin is his first name.
Chris Benoit.
Benoit. See, it's Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Watts killed his whole family.
Chris Watts.
Careful,
He's a piece of
evil.
shit. Yeah.
Just take the vacation.
Yeah. I suppose.
I did want to take one of the cats. I'm not gonna lie,
Oh,
but I was like, they're
all dead
probably
now.
dead.
They're all dead now.
I wanted some of those babies.
How's that make you feel? Every cat in this movie is fucking
Stop.
dead. Every cow they drive by is dead. Every fucking crow that they rented is dead.
See, and that was something else I wanted to talk about. There's got to be some kind of like meaning behind these crows.
Death.
Is it?
Yes.
Crows bring death? Okay.
They feast on death. Plus, they're laughing.
Yeah, I know that I noticed that they were laughing, but like when he flies away, it kind of like makes me feel like that's Derry. I don't know. At the end when she's like watching that crow and it like dissolves the crow
You got some
into
reincarnation talk going on,
Trish.
man.
I don't know. I'm woo woo. You know, I'm woo woo.
Woo woo.
Woo woo.
Woo woo, as the kids say. I I don't know. Wu-Tang is forever. Is there anything else, closing remarks you want to say about this movie?
No, I don't believe so.
All right. Well, on that note, I suppose we should probably get going because, after all, there's a lot of movies out there and somebody's got to watch them. So why not us, right?
Ass and butt, you lose.
Thank you for listening to the Deep Cut Podcast. There's a new episode every 2 weeks. Fun. You can find it on Spotify and all major podcast apps. Don't forget to let us know your prop pick. Every 2 weeks, there's a new episode. So rate us and subscribe to the Deep Cut Podcast. There's a new episode every 2 weeks. Fun, yeah. You can find it on Spotify and all major podcast apps. Don't forget to let us know your prop pick. Every 2 weeks, there's a new episode. So rate us and subscribe to the Deep Cut Pod, to the Deep Cut Pod. You can find it on Spotify and all major podcast apps. Don't forget to let us know your prop pick. Every 2 weeks, there's a new episode. So rate us and subscribe to the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Pod. 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 To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Pod. 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 To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Podcast. Every 2 weeks, there's a new episode. So rate us and subscribe to the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Podcast.